crafters, welcome to Coffee and a Card. This is an informal, casual crafting time where I spotlight a technique or a Stampin' Up! Product. I'm Vicki Sewell, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator near Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you'd like and follow me on Facebook at Stampin' Chat 30, I'd be honored. Or you can email me with paper crafting questions at stampinchat30@gmail.com. If you see a Stampin' Up! Product in my technique video that you'd like to add to your crafting supplies, you can click my Shop Now link at the top of my Facebook page or the link that I've added below this video. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. Now let's get started on today's project. One of our class projects was a step card using the Trusty Tools stamp set. Here's the front and here's the back. Today I thought I'd show you the same step fold with Adventurous Sky. And here's the card. I stepped it up a little bit so that you could open it and the message is inside. But you could very easily do it the same way on the back. It's an easier step just to cut a 2.5 by 4 inch white cardstock and put it right here on the back. And I think that works just as well. But I thought I'd show you the options that you have today. The materials we're going to need for this are, if you want to do the alternate project, you'll need a piece of white cardstock that's 2.5 by 4. You'll need some DSP that's 2.5 by 4. You'll need some DSP that's 4 by 5 1/4 if you're going to do the inside like this. If you're going to do the greeting on the outside back here, you'll use this instead. You'll need a 2 1/4 by 4 1/4 basic gray piece of 4 3/4 by 1 1/4 white. This will be for this strip right here. You'll need a 2.5 by 4 inch boho blue, and you'll need a 3.5 by 5 inch scrap of white cardstock. The Adventurous Sky is a lot of fun to use. I think it's a great set for men. It makes me think of my dad. He loved airplanes. He took lots of pictures of airplanes. And just like some men know their baseball facts, my father knew all the airplane facts. If he knew the call letters of the airplane, he could tell you where that airplane had served in flight. We're also going to use the greeting birthday wishes from Simply Said. And we're going to use this middle circle die right here from the Everyday Details dies. So I will keep this out and set these aside, out of the way. The designer paper that I'm using coordinates with the Adventurous Sky, and it's called Take to the Sky. It has some beautiful, especially for men, patterns. There's the Mossy Meadow, and there's Night of Navy patterns, some clouds, and some smoky slate patterns, some copper clay, more airplanes here. Let me take it out of this protector here because I can't see it quite as well. And there's more Night of Navy, some really fun airplanes. This is the paper that we're using here. Looks like the welding on an airplane maybe. And some more Mossy Meadow. And there's tags in here and other elements that you can use in this set with the paper. And here's samples of the colors the cardstock colors that coordinate with it. So it's really nice paper, especially for men. So I will move these out of the way and we'll get ready to use them. This is a great time to make friends with your Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. I love Stampin' Up's paper trimmer. It has a ridge up here so you can bump your cardstock up against it. It has an arm that opens out if you need more length. It has this cutting blade, which is dark, and then it has the lighter gray scoring blade. So the paper that we're going to start out with today is going to be 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it just like a regular card base at 4 1/4. I always move my cutting blade up out of the way so that I'm just using my scoring blade. And then we're going to turn the paper, and we're going to move it over to the mark 2 3/4. And once we do that, I'm going to move the scoring blade out of the way. We're going to bring the cutting blade gently down to 2 1/8. So I'm going to bring this up a little closer. If you can see, the edge of the cutting blade has a little line right there, a little guide line. And I've lined that guide line up right here with the 2 1/8 mark on the measuring. And I'm going to move it, just going to punch it down, and I'm going to cut down and stop at the 7.5 mark on the measuring bar. So again, I lined up this guide mark that's on the blade to the 7.5 mark on the measurement. Then we're going to turn it so that the 1-inch side is at the left, and we're going to put it at the top of the paper cutter at 1 inch. And this time I'm going to put my scoring blade, my cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to put my scoring blade. I'm going to do the same thing with my scoring blade. I'm going to line up that little mark on that's the guide on the scoring blade with 2 3/4. It also helps that that's where the cut is, so I can see it pretty well. And I'm going to score up to the top of the paper. I'm going to move it over to the 2-inch mark. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it down to 2 3/4 and score up. Then I'm going to move to 3 1/8. Bring my scoring blade down to 2 3/4. Score up. And the last measurement, we've already scored at 4 1/4, so the last measurement is 6 3/8, which I'm going to pull out this, and I find 6 1/2, and if I pull it back 1/8 from that mark, it actually ends up being right here at the end of the gray on the machine here on the trimmer. And I'm going to move it down to that mark and score up. So now we can put that out of the way, and we'll look at our folds. Okay, so this is the way we want it to be. Our wide side is on the left. Our folded side is on the right, and we're just going to do mountain and valley folds just like that, and our card is ready to decorate. So let me get my bone folder, and we'll get those creases in there really good. There we go, which makes it easier to work with. Now, we're going to stamp the clouds here. And when we stamp the clouds, we want to make sure that we're not stamping on the back side. So I'm going to take my pencil, which has a nice white eraser on it. That's real important that you have a white eraser so that it can erase cleanly. And I'm just going to put a little X in the corner of each space that I want to stamp on to remind me where I'm going to be stamping on this. And I'll pull this in a little closer for you. And I'm going to use basic gray for this. You could also use smoky slate. I like the clouds being a little darker. So I'm just going to ink that up. I'm also going to slip a little bit of paper underneath because I'll probably stamp off the edge here and I don't want to get that on my work surface. By the way, the glass mat is going to be coming in available for customers, I think, tomorrow. Or anyway, it's going to be very soon, July 3rd maybe. So you can check that out. Alright, so I'm going to stamp my cloud. I'm going to come back with the mid-size cloud. You just want to make sure that you don't stamp your clouds off the top because that's going to look a little funny. There we go. And I'll come back with a small cloud here. Alright, the next space that I'm going to stamp is right here. And I'll put the larger cloud there. Maybe another large cloud over here. And then I'm going to stamp on the very bottom. I'll stamp one large cloud in the middle. One off to the side. And one over to this side. And then I'm going to go back with that nice white eraser and erase my X's. I like that white eraser because it doesn't smear your paper. There we go. Now, when I fold it up, I have my clouds stamped in the right places. Now you're ready to use the dies that come with the Adventurous stamp set, Adventurous Sky. They have a great airplane die, and here's the wings that go with it. And I'm going to pull in my little cut and emboss machine here. I like to put a little silicone mat underneath it. That helps keep it from slipping for me. And let's see, I'm going to cut the base of the machine out of this boho blue. And here are my plates. One trick is I choose one plate to always be the top plate, and that helps me keep the plates even and level a little bit longer. If you stagger your plates while you put them into your mini machine, it goes in really smoothly. And just like that, we have a nice, oh, there it is, a nice die cut. Very detailed. Love the detail on it. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing with the wings, except I'm going to cut that out with the, turn that over, yeah. Other part of the, there we go, other part of the airplane, and roll it through the mini machine. And there's that part. And we'll just punch out those little pieces. They come right out. If not, if they don't, then we'll pull out our take your pick tool, and that will get them out. The take your pick tool has a blade, which is what I was using last, but you can just turn it around and put the pick in, and you can get those tiny little pieces out really easily. There's a couple up here, and we'll get those out. Oh, that one's being stubborn. All right. There we go. All right, we'll move these things out of the way so that we can assemble our airplane. Now we want to kind of look at our airplane and decide where we want to put glue. Oh, I see one piece I didn't get out. Let's get that piece out. Right there. Okay. So we want to kind of line it up. And I see there. All right. All right. So I'm going to put some glue on the gray here and maybe here. Okay. And just a little bit of this glue goes a long way. You can see it. Then you know there's some on there. Okay. So we will line it up. There we go. Perfect. And there's our airplane, ready to go. We'll set him aside for a few minutes. In order to make sure that this is not such a long video, I went ahead and stamped the big cloud and cut it out with the die. And I'm going to glue it right along the bottom. Let's see. And partway here. So I just put a little glue on the bottom of it. And I'm going to put it right here. I stamped the birthday wishes that I showed you, and I'm going to put that on with a dimensional. It's a little easier sometimes if you put the dimensional on the surface where you're going to stick it, like right there, and pull the backing off, than to try to figure out where you need to put it on the birthday wishes part. So I'll put it right there. And then I have my little, I stamped there's a tiny little plane. I like that there's all sizes of planes. There's a tiny little plane. And I stamped it and die cut it. There's a die cut for it. And I'm going to glue it right to the top there to add a little interest to the back piece. Right there. Right. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the designer series paper. Let me see if I can pull this off before it gets too dry. And we'll add that designer series paper. I almost forgot it. Here it is. A little bit of glue on it. I heard a quote the other day that part of being creative means knowing how to fix your mistakes. So that wasn't a very big mistake, and it's easily corrected if we catch it in time, which we did. Okay, so there's our designer series paper. And now we can add the cloud. I think there's still enough glue on the cloud that it will work. Yes. There we go. Still plenty of glue on that cloud. All right, that's looking better. Now we're ready to put our airplane on. I'm going to kind of close it up so I can see where we want it to go. Sort of like that. Okay, so I want to put glue on the back half here, not past here. So I'm using my thumb to mark that. Just a little bit of glue there. You could use dimensionals. That would also work. Sometimes you don't want to use too many layers. It gets to be a problem when you mail it. So it's up to you. If you're going to hand deliver it, you might want to use a dimensional there. I'll add a little bit more glue right here. And that's great. Oh, yep, squished through the holes. Have to be careful about that. Not too much glue or it'll come through. Those really are cut through. All right, now I want to show you how to add this stepped up layer on the inside instead of having to do a lot of drawing and measuring and so on and so forth. We're just going to flatten this out and lay this designer series paper right here. And I'm going to come along with my snips, and right here where we scored, I'm going to make a little cut to get started right there. And then also where this line is, where we cut, I'm going to make another little cut right there. Get started, and then so that I can see it really well, I'm going to fold that up so I can see, and I'm going to fold up this corner like so. Then I'm going to bring in my trimmer again, and I'm going to put this right where I cut. I'm going to put it right on that mark. Okay, get the scoring blade. Now I'm going to bring this down just a little closer for you so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut. Let me check one more time. There we go. Got it right there. I'm going to bring it down about even with where I made this little mark here. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to put it right there. Here's your cutting line, and I'm going to bring it down about even with where that other cut mark is, and it pulls right out. All right. Now there's a little edge right there that I don't like. I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to cut down through there, cut that line off just a little bit more. Okay, no harm, no foul. All right. And then we're ready to add that to the inside, like so. Still don't like how that line looks. Everything else looks good, but that one line is a little crooked. So I'm going to use the paper and cut down through here and trim just a little off. There we go. Now I like that a lot better. Much more even. So a little bit of glue on this. And we'll turn that over. And it fits in there beautifully. Without us having to do a lot of measuring. Okay. Now, here's our sentiment to put on the inside. And again, you can glue or put dimensionals, but I think I'm going to glue. You can see I stamped wrong on one side, a little crooked, but fortunately there's always two sides to paper, so I just turned it over and stamped on the other side. And we'll add that there. Beautiful. Now this set comes, part of this set are these trinkets. They're called industrial trinkets. And they're really neat. You're just gonna get your glue dots. A lot of the gems that Stampin' Up! Has come with the adhesive already on them, but these don't. So I'm just going to use a glue dot and put that right there. And then I'm going to get another one and add my glue dot to it. Just lay it on there and then peel it off with the glue dot and put it right here. And I'm going to close it up. And I'm going to add a couple of these trinkets in the corners of the front. So here we go. As easy as that. I love the glue dots. They are so easy to use. I just peel them back. And add it down in the corner there. So, there's your Adventurous Sky card with our trinkets. Great for any guys that fly a lot. I think they'd love it. Well, I hope you'll give this a try, and if you do, please post your picture in the comments below. Have a great day.